There's an abandoned elementary school somewhere in New York where, if you perform a ritual, this ritual specifically, then you'll be able to ask the soul of someone one burning question. It could be anyone. They could be dead or they could even be alive, though dead is preferable. It ultimately doesn't matter. You just need to perform an illegal activity, bring a good offering, do a few steps, and voila! You have summoned a version of the person you wanted to talk to. Of course, it's not as simple as that. If it were, I assure you that a lot less people would end up dead or missing after trying to perform this ritual. But don't worry. I've been through this ritual multiple times before, and I've guided a lot of people through as well, so I can help you get through this without much trouble. Notice also that I did say virgin. See, you aren't going to be talking to the actual person. Rather, you'll be talking to a creature using this person's soul as a vessel. It'll have the same appearance as them, same thoughts and memories as them, but it isn't really them. What this creature is or how it got here in the school, I'm not entirely certain. If I had to guess, someone may have performed a ritual at some point in this school and accidentally summoned it here. At least, I'm fairly certain it was accidental. Because I have no idea who would actually want a faceless entity wandering around this plane of existence, killing people who don't win its games. Yes, I did just say games. The entity will want to play one of two games with you before giving up the answer to your question. One is hide and seek, while the other is poker. Once the game has begun, you'll be unable to leave the school through any means. What, did you think the entity would just give you the answer and then introduce the possibility for you to leave without playing a game with it first? I mean, it's not exactly smart, but come on, it isn't that stupid either. All that aside, though, this creature will tell you the absolute truth of the question you've so desperately wanted to ask. So if you're still willing to try and find the school and do this ritual, then please don't let any of this dissuade you. I'm positive that absolutely nothing will go wrong. Probably. Now, to do this ritual, you will only need one thing, and that is a piece of the person you want to commune with. Now, you don't have to carve out a chunk of flesh or sever their hand from their body, though you could definitely do that if you wanted to, and I actually highly recommend doing that. However, if you're a bit squeamish about lugging body parts around or chunks of flesh and bone with you, then a simple strand of hair will do just fine. Though, the bigger the piece of said person, the harder it is for this creature to actually harm you, to the point where it can't physically hurt you. I don't really know why it can't hurt you if you offer it an arm and a leg, but I know it has something to do with the devotion to the Dark Ones, or something along those lines. Be warned though, if your offering was enough to give you physical protection from this thing, then it will instead curse you if you lose. I'm not exactly sure how it can curse you, or in how many ways, but I do know that I've had a particularly nasty bad luck streak ever since I failed my second run through this ritual. So bad, in fact, that I've actually almost died a couple of times since then. Hey, don't get questioning looks on me now, alright? That thing got lucky. I was 1 minute away from winning. Regardless of what you may now think of me, there are a couple of things that I would recommend you bring alongside your offering. First recommendation, a protective relic. This will act as some added protection between you and the creature, essentially bolstering your offering's importance to it. Unfortunately, there is a catch to this. You need to bring a relic that relates to the person's beliefs. Say, for instance, you wanted to speak with a crush who died in a car accident, and they happen to be Catholic. Then you would want to bring a cross or even a Bible. The Bible is much more practical if you plan on traveling a less than safe route to this school, but it offers less spiritual protection than a cross. Hey, have you ever been smacked by one before? That thing hurts. If the person you're trying to commune with is atheist or agnostic, then unfortunately a protective relic will not help you. Lastly, you might want to bring a candle. Why a candle? Well, this creature messes with any electronic light source, to the point where most light from anything other than a candle is barely visible. It's pitch black in that school, and you'll probably want a light source. Unless, of course, you're able to see in the dark. Now, I haven't met anyone with the capability to actually see clearly in the dark, and generally you don't want to be running around not knowing where you're going with what is essentially a monster chasing after you, but hey, you do you, buddy. Anyways, Now that you have what you'll need to start the ritual, make your way to the school. It has a nice little playground with a bluish slide, yellow monkey bars. You'll know it when you see it. Break one of the windows and enter the school. It doesn't matter which window you break, just break one. No, you can't go in through the front doors. They're made of marble, and they're locked from the inside. Oh, and try not to cut yourself on the way in, because the last thing you need is to be bleeding in the ritual room. There's a very good reason as to why that is, and I'll get to it later. If you did cut yourself, then just exit the school and come back another day when you're no longer bleeding. It's fine. You don't need to be here on a specific day. Any day will do. Now that you're in, make your way to room 169. It's on the right wing of the school. The door is on the left side of the hallway. You should find yourself in a music room with a large mirror on the inside of the door. I say music room, but you won't find any instruments there. It'll just be an empty room with a mirror being the only thing in there. This is the ritual room you're looking for. You know, I actually attended the school a long time ago before it got shut down. Man, brings back memories. Regardless, now that you're in the room with your offering, close the door. Once the door is closed, place the offering in front of the mirror and turn away from it. Then say, "Can I ask you a question?" Now, the amount of time you wait may vary. It could only take a second for the thing to respond, or it might take about 10 seconds to respond. If you don't hear a response after 10 seconds, then I would normally say that it's already too late for you, but I did watch someone who attempted this last week actually dive out one of the windows on the far side of the room. He was pretty messed up from the glass of the window, but he lived. Though he never really was the same after that, constantly gibbering about how it tried to take him. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't laugh considering no one really saw him after that night. Ooh. Actually, on second thought, it probably is too late for you. Man, but that dude was an absolute scumbag. Seeing that look on his face and hearing him babble was priceless. As for why it could take a few seconds, the thing on the other side of the mirror is basically weighing your soul. If it deems you a particularly despicable human being, then it will simply not respond to your question and try to take you. Whatever that means. I digress. If you did hear a response, then it will have been in the voice of the person you want to talk to. Don't turn around yet, unless you actually want to die. Instead, wait for the voice to say, "You may, but in exchange, I want to play a game. Do you want to play?" In order to proceed, you must now turn around and face the mirror. You'll see the person you want to ask the question to on the other side, sitting cross-legged at the center of the mirror, where your reflection would normally be. Respond to it by tapping on the glass, once for yes, twice for no. I personally don't know what happens if you tap out no, but I doubt that whatever happens will be good for you. Think of tapping no out as you basically dragging a friend out of their house because you said that you needed their help, and then telling them you didn't actually need their help. If you tap out yes, then the creature will tell you if it wants to play either hide-and-seek or poker. If it says it wants to play hide-and-seek, then run. Don't stop until you're a good distance away from room 169, then quietly enter a room and hide. Depending on the person you chose to talk to, some spots are better than others. But I've noticed the creature, no matter who it is impersonating, never bends down. Try to hide under a desk if you know that the person you want to talk to is over 4 feet tall, and it probably won't find you. In the event that it finds you, you'll likely die a slow and agonizing death. But if it finds you and your offering is good enough, then you will faint and wake up in the music room with some nasty curse on you. At this point, you've lost the game, and you're free to leave the school without it chasing you down. If you can manage to hide from it for a full hour, then it will scream out saying, "I can't find you!" When this happens, carefully come out of your hiding spot and quietly make your way back to the room. It may have admitted defeat, but it will still try to catch you on the way back to the room, so do be careful. If it says that it wants to play poker, then a deck of cards will appear in front of the creature, and it will deal out 2 cards to both you and itself, and then place 3 cards in the middle of both your hand and its hand. The variant of poker you will be playing is Texas Hold'em. In order to continue, you must tap the mirror once to let the creature know that you wish to proceed to the next round, until you make it to the end, where 5 cards are laid out between your 2 cards, and the thing's 2 cards. To win, you must make a better hand than the creature. The same punishments are given out to you if you lose, depending on your offering. Now, in the event that you have won your game, the creature will stand up from its sitting position. At this point, you can ask it whatever your burning question was, within reason, of course, as it can only answer a question that the person knows the answer to. If you ask it something that it doesn't know the answer to, like, say, this week's lottery numbers, then it will simply say that it cannot answer that, and then vanish. If this happens to you, then congratulations! For all of your stress and anxiety over being killed, cursed, or worse, you have come away with literally nothing. However, if you do ask it something that it knows the answer to, then it will smile, and then truthfully tell you the answer in excruciating detail. Say, for instance, you asked this creature if the person you brought an offering for liked you. And then they did, in fact, like you. Perhaps a little too much. Then it will tell you that said person had been stalking you for the past month and a half because they were so infatuated with you, and is likely planning to kidnap you in the near future. So, yeah, be prepared for your answer when you ask your question. You may now go out through whatever window you like. Not the front doors, though, for as powerful as the entity may be, it somehow cannot mess with the power of a man-made bolt keeping a set of marble doors shut. As for the reason you don't want to summon the creature to impersonate someone who is alive, well, I did tell you that this thing uses the soul of the person you wanted to talk to, didn't I? Well, if the soul is still inside of a living being, then they either die or worse. How could it be worse? Imagine living the rest of your life trapped between two different worlds. Those worlds being this one, the real one, and the one that this creature lives in. You'll live in a constant state of fear, as that creature can still hurt and traumatize you, physically and emotionally, even if you aren't completely in its world. Now, I'm sure you're wondering why the hell I'm posting this here. Well, that's because this time, the thing wanted to play a game of cards with me, and I have a small cut on my finger. So small I didn't even notice it. Rather unfortunate for me, really. Why is that so bad? It's because drawing any blood in the ritual room basically nullifies your protection against this thing, regardless of how big your offering was. So if you cut yourself, and you still went forward with the ritual, then you better be damn well sure that you'll win. The last 2 times I did this ritual, I knew I was safe. I literally offered an arm and a leg both times. That was years ago. I've sent so many people here, so many people with the hopes of contacting deceased loved ones and friends, while some unethically carved out chunks of meat from their neighbors or crushes. Most of them never made it out. Some did, but they became reclusive. They never really spoke to anyone after the crap they must have experienced. It wanted to play poker this time because it knows I'm getting good at hiding from it now, and it wants me. The worst part? I have absolutely nothing for my hand. And it has a pair. A measly pair. I'm on the river now with no hope of getting anything. I guess I just wanted to get that off my chest. It's been waiting for me to tap my finger on the glass for a while now. I just wanted to type this out before it kills me. I'm not entirely sure what happens if you lose to it after you've bled in the room. I really hope it only kills me.